What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at Ableton's audio versus MIDI tracks and how you can be totally confident in which one that you're going to need to use when you start making your beats. So if you guys are ready, let's jump right into this. Okay, so audio and MIDI tracks are the two type of tracks that you're going to be using the most when you're making beats or music in Ableton. So if you right click anywhere in the scene here, you can say insert audio track or insert MIDI track. And we also have the option here to insert a return track, but we're going to talk about that in another episode, so don't even worry about that right now. So when you have an audio and MIDI track, this is what they look like by default. So when you have an audio track here, it says you can drop audio effects here. And when you have a MIDI, it's going to tell you to drop in an instrument or a sample. So that's going to get to the first point here. Audio, you're going to be using permanent forms of audio, versus MIDI, you're going to be able to take an audio or take a virtual instrument and go ahead and play the different notes on it, and then you can edit it at any time. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, so I went and switched to arrangement view, and if you don't know, all you have to do is press tab, and you can switch between the two different views here in Ableton. So now we're in arrangement view, and what I did is I dragged out a sample, which is actually my tag here, and I put it on the audio track. So when you're recording with audio, what you're gonna do to record is you're gonna arm it right here by pressing this. When you record with audio, you're only gonna be able to record with like a microphone or an actual live instrument, or something along those lines, and it's going to be permanent audio that is created. Now when you record with a MIDI track, it's actually going to listen for a keyboard or some kind of MIDI device, and it's actually going to pick up on the notes that you're playing, and it's going to record those notes. But then you can go back later and actually change up the different notes that you played. So if I wanted to record my voice or something on this audio track, what I would need to do is actually go into our preferences here, and I would need to set an input device to do that. Okay, so I went ahead and selected my mic here. And now what we can do is we can actually start recording with it. So we got to arm the track first, and now it's going to be listening. You can see this level right here in the background. It's kind of grayed out right now. If we switch over here, you can see it a little bit better. Once it's armed, we can then press the record button here and start recording from it. Yo, 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 testing, testing. Okay, so now you can see we recorded this audio form, and it's permanent now. We can't go and change it. We might be able to add effects to it. We might be able to change the pitch of it by going into here, and we can play with the different pitch, maybe change the volume level, do basic things like that, but we're not going to be able to manipulate it really any further than that. So the difference is, when we have a MIDI track per se, we can actually use an instrument and we're going to record MIDI from it. So let's say we want to actually use this audio right here. What we could do is slide this down into this instrument panel right here, and now it's in our MIDI track and loaded up. So now if I press any button on my keyboard, it'll actually play that sample that we just recorded on whatever note that I'm playing. For that to work, you need to make sure to select the key up here, that little key symbol, and that's gonna allow Ableton to start listening for your keyboard.
Yo, 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 testing, testing. Yo, yo, yo.
So now when we start playing it on different notes, yo, 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 testing, you can hear that it's playing it at different pitches.
Yo, 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 testing, testing.
Speeding up and slowing down. Yo, yo, yo.
Test.
Yo, 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 testing, So if we started recording with our MIDI track, let's actually record now.
Yo, yo, yo,
testing, testing.
Yo, 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 test. Yo, 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 testing, testing. Yo, 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 test.
And now we'll stop the recording here. You can see that we can go into our MIDI track and we can actually start changing it. Maybe we don't like, maybe this was played a little too fast. We want to back it up a little bit. Maybe same with this one right here. Make sure everything's on the grid. We can go ahead and do that. With audio, it's more permanent. So MIDI is definitely superior because it gives you more control over the different audio that you're making, and it makes it a lot easier as well. All right, so let's go ahead and open an instance of Omnisphere right here, and this right here has to be on a MIDI track. You can't put this on an audio track because this is a virtual instrument. So you're probably going to be using a lot of virtual instruments when you're making beats, and you're going to have them on MIDI tracks so you can actually play it out. So like I said with audio, you're really going to be recording something in live, or you can put a pre-existing sample on it. So if I had some drum sounds or a tag or something like that, you can place that on the track, but you're not going to be putting virtual instruments to create MIDI with. So if you wanted to create a MIDI clip, what you can do is either highlight an area like this, press Command Shift and M, or if you're on Windows, it would be Control Shift and M, and now you have a MIDI track that you can go ahead and start editing and doing whatever you want with. But let's say you're in the other view. We're in session view instead. Pressing tab, we'll go back over to session view. You can literally double click on an area right here and it'll create one for you. And then you can set the position and length of it. You can set the length of how long you want the MIDI note to be. So if you want, you can use a virtual instrument like this, or you could go ahead and kick out maybe a kick sample that you want to use, and you just double click on that sample and it'll load it into the MIDI track for you automatically. Versus if you want to put a kick on an audio track, you'd probably want to switch over by pressing tab and do the arrangement view and place the kick in here. And then you'd have to, zoom in and go in really far just to get it and line it up correctly. So that's another reason I like to use MIDI, is because I don't want to get in here and try to line it up perfectly. With a MIDI track, it makes it really easy to line up because everything's in a nice grid like this, and you can quantize it. Right-clicking again, you can quantize it, and you can use like a fixed grid here for how you want to quantize it. Alright guys, so that is the difference between MIDI tracks and audio tracks in Ableton. And if you have any further questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys for watching this one all the way to the end. Make sure to smash the like button on this one if you liked it. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're uploading tutorials like this every single week that you're not going to want to miss out on. And besides that guys, I'll be catching you all again in the next one. Peace out, gang.